Alright, what's going on, everybody? So, this is going to be my review for DC's Shazam movie. And I just got out of watching it. I thought it was really fantastic. It was a very funny movie, very well written, had a really great story. Billy's search for his mother, it could have easily weighed down the movie. It could have easily fallen flat. But luckily, that didn't happen. And I feel like it worked out. It worked very well with the main theme of this movie. The movie is surprisingly dark. I mean, don't let the trailers fool you. Like if you look at the trailers for Shazam, you would think that this movie is just like this really lighthearted movie, and it's definitely got a lot of lighthearted moments. It's definitely got a lot of funny moments. Cause like I said, it's a very funny movie, but it can be dark when it wants to get dark. It's got some really dark, disturbing imagery in a lot of the scenes, and especially in some of the earlier scenes and some of the scenes that are like later on in the movie. And I'm gonna be very vague for this review because I don't want to spoil anything. But it's also got some really creepy monster designs with the seven deadly sins. The seven deadly sins, gluttony, envy, pride, all of that. So there's basically monsters in the movie. There's monsters in the movie that are based off of the seven deadly sins, and I think maybe that's in the comics or whatever. I'm not too familiar with Shazam comics, but other than that also it's very surprising. It's surprisingly violent also. I mean, people are getting their heads chopped off, thrown out of windows, and that opening scene, man. I wish I can go into detail, but like I said, I'm gonna be very vague. I'm gonna be very very vague for this review, so I don't spoil anything. It's very self-aware of the genre. It doesn't like it isn't. This movie isn't shy. It doesn't shy away from its comic book roots. And like I said, I'm not too familiar with the comic books. I do know a few things about Shazam. Basically basically all the stuff that I've read on Wikipedia about the character. And I noticed a lot of references, a lot of nods, and I'm pretty sure like for those of you who are big fans of Shazam and y'all who have read the comics, y'all are going to see a lot of references to the comics in this movie. There's also, and I don't think this is a spoiler. This probably is. It really isn't a spoiler. Superman. There is a Superman cameo. I mean, I want to say that's kind of common knowledge by now, so I don't think that's really a spoiler. Um, the wizard. So the wizard that gives Billy his powers is like very over top in his performance. The actor that plays the wizard, and I don't think they actually gave the wizard a name in this movie, but anyway, the wizard that gives Billy his powers, very over the top, very very over the top acting, but it could have come across as cheesy, but that is another thing that it just works. Like everything in this movie that could have gone wrong, that could have ended up being cheesy and cringeworthy and stuff, it really just worked, and a lot of it is due to the acting in the movie. The acting is very good. I mean, across the board, and given the fact that there's like the majority, well, I don't want to say the majority of the cast, but there's children involved in this movie. Like the main characters are children, and for those children to actually do a great job acting in this movie, and really the actor that played Billy Batson, I thought he did a great job. The guy who plays Billy's friend, and I'm kind of blanking on the character's name, so forgive me, but the guy that played him, he did a good job, even though I was kind of getting annoyed by his character, but I guess that's kind of intentional. Um, I will say this. This movie isn't for everybody though. If you're somebody that doesn't like Deadpool or didn't like Spider-Man Homecoming because like the characters aren't as serious as what we're used to in a superhero movie, you're probably not going to like this because the kids at times they can be very unfocused. Like Billy Batson at one point, like he's trying out his new superpowers. He's trying to test his new superpowers out, and then he'll do something and he's like, oh my god, I just did this, I just did that. And there's many times in the movie where I'm like, man, these kids gotta get serious. They gotta get serious, man. But then I had to remind myself, okay, these are kids. Even though he's a grown man right now, he's still a kid. So I think certain people weren't. I think certain people won't really like this movie, just based on the fact that it's kids playing superheroes. It's a kid being a superhero, and I think like if you're somebody that didn't like Peter Parker in Homecoming, and you didn't like Deadpool, you might not like this movie. Another like one last thing I want to say. The special effects in this movie. I was also surprised. I was surprised by the special effects because just judging off of the trailers, the suit, the Shazam suit, it looks very cheap. It looked very cheap to me. So I thought going into this that it was going to be a very low budget movie, but to be honest, I mean the special effects look very good. Um, in comparison to the special effects, like I said, the suit looks cheap, but everything else around it looks like they put money into it and they poured money into it. The sound effects, and I don't usually talk about sound design and editing because I'm not some like movie buff or anything. Like I didn't take no film classes or nothing like that. But the sound effects, I think they were really good in the movie. And I gotta say that the editing, whoever edited one particular scene in this movie, and it's kind of hard to describe it because I don't want to spoil anything, like I said. But there is a scene at night where Billy has just discovered his powers and he's like training, well not really training, but he's testing out his lightning ability. But the way that they edit a certain scene, it was just so hilarious the way that they edited something, and I wish I could go into detail about it. But like I said, the movie is well written. It has a great story. It's funny. I mean, I honestly think it's a very solid DC movie. I want to say this is one of the best movies that they've had in a while. I mean, I obviously, I liked Aquaman. I even liked Man of Steel, and I thought Wonder Woman was okay, but this is way better than Wonder Woman. In my opinion, this is way better than Wonder Woman. This deserves, because I think this movie is sitting at a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I think it deserves it. I don't think it's a 9 out of 10. I don't think it's a 10 out of 10. To be honest, I can't really think of anything negative really to say about this movie, but I'm pretty sure as soon as I'm done recording this, I'm going to probably think of something. But to be honest, I mean, I thought it was a pretty good movie. I mean, I would give it an 8 out of 10. I mean, I honestly wouldn't say that it's better than Man of Steel, because I feel like Man of Steel was obviously more serious. And with this, like I said, it's not for everybody. It's not going to appeal to everybody. And to be honest, I think they need to do a better job advertising this movie, because there's a lot of people that didn't even know that this movie exists. I'm not lying to y'all. There are a lot of people that don't know what this Shazam movie is. I mean, so far, there's been people that just like as soon as you tell somebody about Shazam or you ask them about Shazam, they think about that Shaq movie from back in the day, that really bad Shaq movie. But yeah, they need to crank up the marketing machine on this, because this is, for those of y'all who are familiar with the comic books, like this is the original Captain Marvel. This is the original Captain Marvel, and they're not really doing a great job advertising this, I don't think. And it's gonna be a shame if this movie doesn't do as well as it should, because it's a very good movie. It's not a bad movie. DC has finally, I think honestly the tables are about to be turned when it comes to the Marvel versus DC thing. I'm not saying that Marvel is going to go downhill, but judging off of what Marvel is saying that they're going to be doing for their next phase or whatever, with Captain Marvel being kind of the face of the Avengers, and then seeing what DC is doing with this and Aquaman. I mean, I'm more optimistic about DC movies now. I'm very more optimistic about their movies now. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about Shazam in the comment section below if you enjoyed the movie. Like I said, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. Let me know what you guys think. I'm out of here. Peace.